Keeping Up the Conversation, an unscripted podcast. And now, here's your hosts, Tori and Big Ken. Follow Keeping Up the Conversation on Facebook at KUTC Live.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Keeping Up the Conversation. I am your host, Miss Tori, and here with me is my ever-present and silly and crazy co-host, Big Ken. What's up?
Hello.
Back from Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
1 week away from the show was too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, but Thanksgiving just was not Thanksgiving. I
Yeah,
mean, this pandemic is putting a hurting on everything.
I
Like
know.
Thanksgiving was one of those things that you looked forward to. You know, you wanted to eat, you wanted to spend time with the family and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Some of y'all still did all that, but not me.
I know. Yeah, no.
I
I went.
stayed in the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, I went to see my mother-in-law, and I went to see my mom, and that was about it. I had to pick up my son from college, but that was it. I didn't go out, didn't do anything, and
Mm.
but I did watch the Tyson fight.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, so I wait, you know what? Before we get to that, remember off air, I told you I was going to tell you about my wig experience, right?
Oh,
So,
hold on.
you know,
But you gotta set the precedence. The last episode we had before break was with a young lady, and she told us all about wigs. And
mhm.
Tori lacks what we call wig confidence. Like she can't wear wigs. She had this
Cannot
confident
do it.
thing. Like she thinks people are gonna look at her crazy because she's got on a wig. She thinks people are gonna know she has on a wig. So that's the preference
Yeah.
to. I mean, that's the full story. Before we get to her comments coming. But go
Yeah.
ahead, Tori. Go ahead.
Okay, so Mr. Big Ken, I still lack wig confidence. So, I was talking to you right before the Thanksgiving break, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna order these lights," which apparently you see they're still all jacked up. I don't know. I have too many lights. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. And so when I ordered the lights, I also said I'm gonna go and I'm gonna order me a wig. I ordered one that was like similar to my hair, except for not right now. And so, there was no one in the bathroom while I was putting it on, and I just wanted that space to myself. So I put it on and I asked my 10-year-old, I said, "How did this look?" And there was a delayed response. There was a delayed response. So, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, it looks nice." So that was it. And then he ran out. So I asked my husband and I said, "How does this wig look?" And he's like a wig.
Uh,
And so here's my confidence just going slow, slow, slow. And he's like,
yes.
look, when I married you, you had all this hair, and now you're putting a wig on top of all that hair. It's pointless. And all right, so I asked my other son, who's home for the holidays, and so I said, I said, "What do you think about this wig?" And he said, "It looks like a hat."
Wow. At least they were honest.
So
At least they were honest,
yeah, and
though.
they were honest, and I said, and he's like, "It's so." I was like, "But my hair is just like this. So how does this look like a hat? How does it look like a wig?" And he said, "Because I know it's a wig, and that's not your hair." And so, and he's like, "Why don't you just wear your natural hair?" And I said, "Because I don't have it straight right now, and it's this big old ball of natural hair." He's like, "There you go, natural hair." So I took the wig off, and this is what we get. So
Well, see, what you have to do is you have to put the wig on and then don't bring attention to it. Just walk around like it's your hair, like it's no different. And then you allow people to point it out to you, like in your house. Like when you go and you ask them, how does this look? Like they look at it and that brings attention to it. So you want
okay,
them to notice it on their own. So try it again.
I'm gonna
do it a
try
little different,
again. All
and don't
right.
bring their attention to it, and just see how long it takes them to notice that you have on a wig.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. If
Hmm.
I decide to wear a wig one day on the show,
Hmm.
well, we meet, about 30 minutes before the show starts.
Hmm.
If I decide to wear a wig before the show, will you say, no?
I mean, yeah,
Or,
if it looks bad, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be like, nah, that's not the move. That is not the move. Like, I will tell you. I would definitely tell you. Hey,
yeah.
I gotta be honest. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be honest. Honesty is the best policy. So, I
Yeah,
gotta
and
let
you're
you
right.
know.
And you're absolutely right. And I do appreciate, my family for telling me that. But when I put the wig on, my confidence was up here. And then, we talk about wig confidence, so it went all the way back down. So now I got to start over. So I'm not going to tell you when I'm going to wear the wig. I'm just going to come on the show in our pre-production, and you bring it to my attention. If you don't say anything,
Hey,
then I'm a roll
let it
with the
rock.
how. No, however, you can't just let me come on the show and make a fool out of myself. You can't.
I'm
You
never
can't
gonna
just
do
say
that.
I'm gonna let her go on the show.
I'm never gonna do that. Don't worry. I'm never gonna do that. Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
all
So
right. I'm
we
just
good.
saying.
We good with that.
I,
Yeah.
I hate fighting with my hair, but
We're
hey,
gonna boost that wig confidence.
oh, I need some. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do. I know
Yeah.
it's like Danae said when we talked to her. She's the owner of the wig boutique in California. She said, just wear it to the mailbox and back. I may have to do that. Then I'm gonna be all mad if nobody sees me. But you know what? Hey,
You just have to rock with it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna rock with it. Yeah. So I was talking about fighting my hair. Let's talk about Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fight. How about that?
Yeah. Got some
So,
hot topics.
yes, the hot topics. All right, so Tyson is 54, Roy Jones Jr. is 51, and they fought this past weekend. And of course, Tyson, looking in all his splendor and glory in the ring, came out with some aggression, and he landed a couple shots. And yeah, Jones fought too. But here's what was
Tory talked about his shorts, y'all. Tory
yes,
talked about Mike's shorts. I'm like, get off of Mike's shorts. Those are the
no, no.
traditional black joints that he wore when he was fighting back in the 90s. So let Mike make it. You know what I'm saying? Let Mike do his thing.
Ken, so they were just okay. So I don't remember I remember he was, a big ball of muscles when he fought. I never missed any of his fights. I don't remember his shorts being that big. And so, which means I don't know how much he weighed back then. I know he lost 100 pounds, 100 pounds. Yeah. So I don't know, but before when he came out and I saw his shorts, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what this fight is going to be about. But it had nothing to do with the shorts. It was wonderful. And here's what's funny though. Okay, so I know we got to roll on, but I gotta tell you something. So I was watching the fight. How the post fight stuff. And so Mike Tyson said, listen, he's like, I can't stop smoking weed. I smoked weed before I fought. I smoked weed after I fought. He's like, it's just me. It's part of me, and
It's medicinal.
I I guess so. And he said, I want to tell you what he said. He said, listen, I can't stop smoking. He said, I smoke during fights. I just have to smoke. And then he said, I'm sorry, I'm a smoker. I smoke every day. I've never stopped smoking. It's just who I am. And then he said it has no effect on me from a negative standpoint. But here's the kicker. He said, I am going to die smoking weed. There is no explanation, there's no beginning, and there is no end.
Well, yeah, I mean, for some people, to each his own. First of all, just talking about the fight in general, like I felt like Mike exceeded my expectations,
Oh,
you
for
know what I'm saying,
sure.
from what I have been
100%.
seeing,
Right.
what I'm saying, over the
Mhm.
years, and for him to come in, to have lost that weight, to come in and fight like he did, like he exceeded my expectations. And what Roy did was kind of close to what I thought, what
Right.
I'm saying, he would do. And but like Mike came in and he was hitting Roy with some power shots. And I
Oh,
don't think
yeah.
a lot of people a lot of common people who watch boxing, they look at, the when guys get hit in the face and the head, and that's the ones they look at. But Mike was throwing some body shots, and
Yeah,
those
he had
body
those
shots,
body blows. Yeah.
body
Yeah,
shots
he did.
took a toll on Roy. And I'm telling you, if you saw Roy at the breaks, he was like,
Yeah, and and that's what really like concerned me because I was wondering like, okay, is he gonna make it? And just like the pre-fight, one of the things he said because they interviewed him before the fight, he said, we're working on some stuff. Him and his camp said this, we're working on some stuff. I have some stuff. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. And so when he got in the ring, one of the things I was thinking about, okay, so I can pretty much guess that the thing that they were working on was the no look punch because he did that a couple of times. And I know when he fought before, he did that a little bit, but he did it a lot. And I think it was
nah,
to avoid.
he
Did he
did
do that a
that.
lot?
He did that a lot when he was fighting. I think they were working on the song that he came into personally. I
Really?
think
You
that's what
think
they spent the
so?
most. That's what they spent most of their song,
Get out of
most
here.
of their time
See,
making that
okay.
song for him
See,
to come in on.
maybe I don't remember because I know that when he fought, he would fight. Every now and again, I thought I saw the no look punch, but he did it a lot. And I think that he was trying to avoid that Iron Mike blow
Oh yeah,
because,
yeah. He was clearly trying to get away from Mike or trying to keep Mike close enough where he couldn't load up and punch him. But I'm telling you, you go back and look at that fight. I looked at it twice,
Mhm.
and he landed some heavy punches on Roy, man. And I was like,
Yeah.
I hope Roy woke up the next morning with some ice around them ribs in that midsection because he took some damage.
Yeah, he did. I like at the end of the fight where when he said that um everybody was so worried about Roy, what about me? He's
Yeah,
like,
that was funny. But before we move on, we
okay, all
would be
right.
remiss
I know you did. Yeah, okay, go
not to
ahead.
mention, my guy Nate. I love Nate. I love the stuff that he does with his YouTube. Very charismatic guy. I love the stuff that he does with his kids. I loved him, as a basketball player and everything that he's in, what I'm saying? He always has a great energy about him. And I get what he was trying to do, what I'm saying, as a whole.
Uh-huh.
But when he took that first swing, I was like, oh my God, this guy's about to get knocked
Yeah.
out. Like I knew it.
Yeah,
He
it was
just he just didn't look like he was prepared.
no,
And
yeah.
as that round went on, I was like, man, is he gonna make it? Because I think they were only fighting like 6 rounds. I think they were fighting 6 rounds.
They were fighting 6 rounds,
And I
yes.
was like, oh my God. But I'm telling you, the first knockout, I was like, okay. The second knockout, I was like, oh man. And then he came right back and got knocked out
Man,
cold.
I just and yeah, and man, social media is so quick. As
Oh
soon
yeah.
as he was not, I mean, I got on social media, I saw stuff from you, I saw stuff from other people, and I saw stuff.
As
Yes,
soon as
you
he
did.
hit that mat, I already knew. I said, this is about to be a meme. This is about to
Yeah,
be a
it
meme immediately.
was
So I mean, but that's what happens now. Anytime you do anything in the public eye and
mhm.
it doesn't go so well, you can rest assured the ridicule is coming, the opinions are coming.
Yeah.
So it just is what it is. This is a day and the times that we live in. So we just have to embrace it and know that it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder if, when I was back to my hair really quick, when I was growing up, I always thought that I had like this little bitty head, and I knew it. Well, I didn't think that I knew I had a little head, and then I had all this hair, and so for the longest time, my brother and my sister used to call me a chia pet, and then like one year recently for my birthday, he sent me a picture of a chia pet. And I was he's like, "Do you remember this?" So,
Oh,
social media sucks sometimes, but whatever.
Chia Pet's cool. It could be a troll. You know what I'm saying? So you can call you a troll, treasure troll or something
That's
like that.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. So, Anyway, business spotlight. So every week we profile a successful small business in our business spotlight. This week we are once again shining the light on the Plain Sight app founded by James Chapman. The Plain Sight app is a social networking platform for you to meet like minded people in your area at virtual and physical spaces. Also, the Plain Sight app is looking for content creators. If you love writing about events going on around you and your community, visit plainsight.app and get paid for each article you submit. You'll learn more about the Plain Sight app today because James Chapman is our special guest. To apply to have your business appear in the business spotlight, go to KUTC Live on Facebook and complete the form in our About section. So,
Yep.
yeah, you know, anyway, I love entrepreneurship. I love business,
We
and that's
know.
why I'm. Do I say that a lot? I say that all the time. Huh? Well, you know what? I'm just going to move on. So, our guest today spearheaded the launch of the Quicken Loans Detroit Demo Day, which is an annual entrepreneur pitch competition for Detroit based businesses. And in just 3 years, the program provided nearly 3.5 million in funding to businesses, most minority and women owned. Now he is on a new journey with the launch of his app. Welcome to the show, James Chapman.
And now, as Detroit's best and brightest compete for their share of $1 million. That's right. Rocket Mortgage Detroit Demo Day is back. We're celebrating the trailblazers who defied the odds and started something new or pivoted to find a better way.
Please join us as we disrupt the plastics industry.
The pillars of our community that are giving everything to keep their business going strong.
Did you have this much energy before you started this company?
Yeah. Where are you going?
And the innovators who are continuing to show that the next big thing is coming from right here in the D.
They're tough. I felt like I was on Shark Tank or something like that.
Watch to see if your favorite business walks away with the cash at this year's Detroit Demo Day.
Hey, James Chapman.
What's going on, everybody? How are you guys?
Good,
Hey.
good.
Good,
I am
good.
so glad. I know you're on the road, and it makes me appreciate you even more for joining us. I'm so glad that you were able to stop for a second and chat it up with us and let us know what you're doing and what you have going on. So, once again, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't miss it. I appreciate you guys. Sorry for me being traveling and not having as much luxurious backgrounds as you guys have right now. But you know, I'm an entrepreneur and we do what we can with what we got. So
Oh, yeah,
we're gonna make it happen.
for sure. That's right. That's right. Now, I really, well, first I have to say real quick. So, Big King, because I don't even think I told you, James and I met as entrepreneurs do, kind of just networking on a platform, and we connected with each other. And you hate to say this, but he's black in tech, and I am black in tech, and I think that black in technology. I think that it's one of those fields that's just not really inhabited, by for sure black women, and let alone just black people in general. And so to connect with him has been really, really great. And we talk once a month just about about business, how is he doing and how I'm doing, and it's been a great connection. So I'm glad to be in his circle.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw your post on that forum. I forget even which forum it was, and you looked like you were doing interesting work and just been collaborating and having conversations ever since. And so when you told me about this opportunity, I couldn't say no. So I'm glad to just have a chance to be able to chop it up with you guys for a little bit and share stories and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, so I have to say that you're doing a phenomenal job in the field of community building and entrepreneur networking, which is absolutely necessary right now, especially with a lot of businesses kind of having to, you know, change the way they do business.
Right.
So I
Right.
appreciate that.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. It's definitely tough for entrepreneurs and business owners during this time. This
Yeah.
time like no other. It's very unprecedented. You never know what to expect. Everything changes by the week, it seems like. And it's very, very challenging right now. And so, we got to stick together. We got to
Oh
build
yeah.
community. We got to share
Yeah,
resources
for
in
sure.
order for us to get on a better side of this thing.
Yeah, for sure. Now, before we get into your new startup,
Yeah.
the Plain Sight app, for those that don't know you, where are you from? Where are you now?
Yeah.
Give us a little bit about all that jazz.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Chattanooga, Tennessee, born and raised. I moved to Detroit about 4.5 years ago. And when I was in Chattanooga, I started a co-working space for side hustlers. So the space was open between 6 p.m. and midnight because people who are working on their side hustle usually were doing it from home alone. And I just wanted to have a concentrated space for those people to be able to come and share ideas and share resources and collaborate with each other. And the space started doing pretty well. Some stakeholders in the Detroit community invited me up to help with their entrepreneurship ecosystem. And the video clip that you show as I was coming in was from the work that I did in Detroit in building Detroit Demo Day, an annual $1.2 million for entrepreneurs in the city to be able to receive anywhere between $50,000 and $300,000 for their business, as well as, of course, it's a big celebration and a show. A lot of people come out. Due to COVID this year, we had to pre-record everything, but we still pushed out $1 million to entrepreneurs that really needed it during this time and gave them a spotlight. So that's where I'm from. That's what I've been doing in Detroit prior to starting Plain Sight.
Okay. Now, of course, we're going to get back circle back around to Detroit Day because I really love it. But just kind of tell us about the Plain Sight app because I really like it. I really like it a lot. So just kind of tell us about.
Yeah, thank you. So with Detroit Demo Day, it's all about connecting entrepreneurial minded people and entrepreneurs to monetary capital. And the Plain Sight app is about connecting people to human capital, right? So like we are all where we are because we made great connections along the way. We talk to people, we've networked with people have opened doors for us. And without a strong network, then you're not going to be able to achieve all of the things that you possibly can achieve in life, right? You got to have people who you can connect with that's going to be able to give you opportunities and expose you to different things. And that's really what Plain Sight is about. So it's a mobile app for you to download. You can check in at different spaces with different people that you share interests with. You can find people based on their skills, interests, and professions in your area and be able to connect and network with them in real time. So the comparison I give everybody, says like, what's different between you and LinkedIn? LinkedIn is for adding people to your network that you already know, right? Like we know each other, so I may go back and add you on LinkedIn so we can stay in touch. Plain Sight is all about connecting you to people that you don't know, but connecting you based on the things that you have in common and the things that are complementary to each other.
Now the Plain Sight app, it wasn't was it originally like this? Because I know that COVID may have kind of forced you to kind of pivot a little bit. So I kind of want you to tell us about that. But the Plain Sight app, was it originally sort of like a relationship management tool for hiring and kind of letting people collaborate, or is that okay?
Yeah, great question. So when we launched Plain Sight last October, it was really for networking events, co-working spaces. We have a partnership with Delta, so every Delta Sky Lounge in the country is listed on Plain Sight for those people to go to these actual like high density, high population, fast paced environments, and be able to like check in and essentially see the business card and the business profile of everybody who's in the room with you at one time. Right. So that was the original goal. But when COVID hit in March, and it's so funny, we were actually planning to go down to South by Southwest and activate the Austin Sky Lounge during South by, right? Because Delta gives us the permission to go into any Sky Lounge of our choosing once a month for a week at a time and activate that lounge. But long story less long, that's what it was really built for, right? It was built for physical spaces that are fast paced and you be able to see who's in at a networking event. So like, we go to these networking events and we end up talking to the person standing next to us at the bar, just because like that's who's closest to us. And the real person that we want to talk to is probably halfway across the room, and we leave and never know it, right? So that was the problem that we were really solving, is allowing you to have that exposure in these set environments. But now that COVID's hit, man, and everybody's at home, I'm starting to think that we're even more valuable to people now than ever, because how do you network? How do you make new connections if you're stuck at home, right? And so we're creating both virtual and physical spaces on a platform for people to be able to check into, see who's all around you, and then connect and collaborate with those people. So one of the things that we ask you when you create a profile is like, who are you looking for? And based on what you put in your profile, whenever somebody that has that expertise checks into a space around you, we'll send you a notification so that you can easily be able to spot those people and connect with them. So we try to take the work out of the networking.
So go ahead, Ken.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I got one quick question. So with the information that you just gave us, can you talk about the name itself, Plain Sight? Because I think I have an idea of kind of how that came about, but I want you to tell the people, like, where did you even get the name Plain Sight from, and how does that tie into what you got going on?
Yeah, I never really talk about how we got to the name much. So Big Ken, that's a good question too.
That is a good question, because I didn't even know.
Yeah, so my lead investor is Dan Gilbert, owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Rocket Mortgage, et cetera, right? And so he and I were talking. The way I pitched it to Dan, I said, "Yo, Dan, an angel investor and a startup founder, both are in the same coffee shop at the same time. They compliment each other on each other's glasses. They walk out the doors and they never actually talk, because how are you supposed to know? They're kind of like hidden in plain sight." And right. And so like that was the whole reason behind it. And so one day he texted me and said, like, we should call it HIPS, hidden in plain sight. And I told him, I'm not walking around. I'm not walking around with a hoodie that says HIPS on the front of it. I'm not doing that. So that was like, I was like, how about plain sight? You know what I'm saying? And so that's how the name came about. It's from like this concept of like, the people that you really want to connect with are probably right there in front of you. You just have no idea. And so making that visible is really what we're going about. So that's how we came up with the name.
So someone with I guess maybe a bio, you would say, similar to mine, visits my favorite coffee shop, or like how do I know when to make a connection? Like,
So when you create your profile, you can add in your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your Twitter, your website, your skills, your interests, what you're looking for. And so now that we have all of that data, then we can start the matchmaking process with other people who are around you. You can also at any given time make a post on Plain Sight. And so we categorize the post as well. So we try to get super, super careful about the curation, because we just don't want people just like blurting out or like trying to be too salesy and that kind of stuff on the platform. So when you make a post, you have to categorize it by news, inspiration, need help, offering help. You know what I'm saying? And so all those are the types of things that you're posting about. And so we're super, super careful about how we curate those connections so that you can easily find the type of people that you're looking for, and then the type of spaces that have the type of people that you're looking for. We call it finding your tribe.
Okay. Oh, I did see that on your website.
Yep.
So this change right here was kind of made as part of the pivot, the change you had to make during because of the pandemic. So will you continue to use the change you made because of COVID once all signs point to more in-person networking?
On the better side. TBD, to be honest with you. Like I said, man, things change week by week with the state of the world right now. And so it's really hard to map that out. I do think that having virtual spaces is something that's going to be very valuable to us and to our users throughout this pandemic. Whether we'll keep virtual spaces on the platform or not, once you can actually go out into some of these physical spaces, not quite sure yet. We'll see. But we've got some great partners. So, for example, like General Assembly. I don't know if you guys have heard of General Assembly or not. They have like a lot of coding classes and like these different classes for people to take. They have listed a virtual space on our platform for their alums to be able to check in and network with each other. They want to run their networking events through into their virtual space. So we actually have an event that I'm doing with them on the 10th, where people are going to be watching via Zoom, but checked in on plain sight, right? So they can network
Okay.
before, during, and after that event. Because right now, when General Assembly reached out, they were like, yo, we do these Zoom events, and then after the Zoom event is over, we send out a Google spreadsheet and say, put your LinkedIn link, put what you can help somebody with and what you need help with. And our platform already does all of those things. So
Oh, okay.
that's kind of how that relationship formed.
I think that that's really awesome because I attend a lot of virtual networking events, and one of the things that that always happens is that when we connect with people, there I'm not going to mention the name, but they're on this one platform, and when you get on this one platform, it's like a whole just you have all these entrepreneurs and people that have their business start new startups, which is wonderful,
Right.
but it's like this whole string of stuff. You got to kind of filter through it. And it got to the point where I said, I can't do this as an entrepreneur. I don't have time to be going through through all of this and figuring out who matches with me and what I'm doing. And so I think
Yeah,
that what
it's
I
difficult.
think Plain Sight offers a awesome platform for people like me to connect with.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
I love the idea of you connecting with entrepreneurs, connecting entrepreneurs with resources, which brings me kind of back a little bit to the Detroit Demo Day.
Uh-huh.
You have a partner, the demo, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Detroit Demo Day is in a partnership with Quicken Loans. So, Brian, you have to kind of tell everyone how this works because I think it's totally awesome.
Yeah. So Quicken Loans, Rocket Mortgage, whichever you want to call them, they put up the cash for this. They're based in Detroit. They care a lot about entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship. And so when I pitched them the idea of doing like a pitch competition for Detroiters by Detroiters, for people to be able to receive that sort of cash. And the thing about our pitch competition, usually when you see demo days and these big pitch competitions with this kind of money, it's all tech. Right. It's everybody,
Right.
folks like me that have these apps and they're pitching these apps and that kind of stuff. But with Demo Day, it's coffee shops, it's bakeries, it's barbershops, it's, maybe some people do have some technology apps and that kind of stuff, but it's a true depiction of what entrepreneurship looks like in the city of Detroit, which is what I think makes it really, really cool because, it being industry agnostic, now you get a real celebration and you invite people to the table and you have people who have never had a chance to pitch their company for that much money, be able to pitch, and share that same stage and get that experience. And so that's really what I'm more thankful for, to be able to create a program like that. Is just giving people the exposure and the opportunity in addition to the cash. So that's how the relationship works with them. They put up the cash, they take care of the production and all of that kind of stuff for us, and then we run the operational side.
Yeah, I think that's a totally awesome program. I know that when I was trying to find, just kind of like what you're doing, what you're up to. That was one
Yeah.
of the things that popped up, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And so I see these people like, coming up the stairs, and then there's this red carpet at the end of the red carpet. There was you. I was like, "Get out of here!"
Yeah, we treat them
you
like
know?
rock stars, man. And
Yeah.
when it's not COVID, it's this huge, it's like this 2,000 person venue that gets packed out every year. T.I. performed, Common has performed, Wyclef Jean has performed, right? Like these people come and they pitch in front of the masses, man, and we have a big celebration at the end of it. And they really get treated like rock stars for sure. Like they walk around town in Detroit, and like everybody, all the entrepreneurs want to make it to Detroit Demo Day. So if you made it to Demo Day, you got your truck, all of that kind of stuff, then what do they call it, the big show on campus or whatever that
Yeah, big man on
the
campus. Yeah.
big man on
Yeah.
campus. Yeah.
I like that, and Ken and Big Ken. I don't know if you saw it or not, but he was like in front of this bank vault, and it was open, and it had all this money in it, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh, to be a fly on the wall.
I got a question for James too about when you talk about Detroit. Often when people talk about Detroit, especially now, they talk
Yeah.
about the real estate in Detroit. So that's one
Right.
thing when she told me that you were in that area, and I was
Yeah.
going to ask you as an entrepreneur. I know you're into the tech side and the app, but have
Yeah.
you into real estate and looked into that as well. As far as an
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, I know a lot of times entrepreneurs have their hands in a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I heard that
I,
Detroit
I,
has
I,
a lot of real estate that,
mhm.
that you
Yeah.
can acquire at a cheap
Yeah,
price.
absolutely. Detroit went from a city that was built for 1.2 million people, and because of a lot of the struggles that it's had to go through over the number of years, 600,000 people, right? And so, what does that mean? That means that there's a lot of land, and there's a lot of property, and there's a lot of stuff just kind of sitting there vacant for people to be able to grab. Real estate's not my game, just because I haven't had the time and the energy to kind of learn it and focus on it and do it the way I would really want to do it and do it right, with that type of time and money investment. But I will say I have some other colleagues and friends of that nature that have, are making real estate plays in Detroit, and it's paying out for them, right? So it's one of those that you'll have to dedicate to it. You might have to put like some money behind, depending upon the property, and how cheap you get it for, and all of it, and blight and all that kind of stuff. You may have to like fix it up, but Detroit's on the rise, and the property value for a lot of those properties are going up. So if you are looking at property in Detroit, now would be the time for sure, because it's wide open. It's wide open.
Are you going to Detroit, Big Ken?
No. But I'm always, thinking about entrepreneurial, ventures and things
Yeah,
like that. And it's not necessarily for myself, but it might be for a viewer who might be in
Yeah.
that's
that
true.
area, or
That's
somebody
true.
who's around that area that might be interested.
Or just
And,
interested in real estate. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? People who are
yeah.
interested in real estate, Detroit is a good place for them to check out. So I agree. I think that's a good thing to mention.
All right. So I want to make a statement and then I have a question. So the
Okay.
statement is when we are able to kind of meet, everyone be in person, I would like an invitation to Detroit Demo Day. I'm just putting that out there.
All right, done. That's done. You got to bring Big Ken with you though.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
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 I'll bring.
Done.
She
Yeah, I
can't go
told
anywhere
yeah.
without me.
I told him. I said, you know what? Now that you're my co-host, I'm dragging you all around the world. Okay.
Good.
Yeah. I'm her personal bodyguard. She can't go
Good.
There
anywhere
you
without
go.
me.
There we go. We putting it. We front row, right in front of
There
the
you go.
stage.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Tell,
You know
tell,
what?
tell me the performer that y'all would like to see at the end, and that way I can store it away already and
Oh
start.
man.
I'll put whoever that name is. I'll put the name in the hat, and when we start discussing who's going to perform,
Okay.
because that's always the hardest part. Just figuring
Oh,
out
getting
who we're going
someone.
to get to
Yeah.
perform that year. So I'll take any ideas on that front too.
Yeah, I would say someone from, and I can't even think of anyone off the top of my head, but it's probably someone that I have on my playlist. Someone from Detroit.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a
Yeah.
lot of artists, though. That's a
Yeah,
lot of artists.
yeah.
I
Because
know.
you got
That's what I
A lot
anything
of
said.
from
You
artists.
know.
Motown
Yeah.
to hip hop this day and age.
Right.
Detroit
That's why I
Detroit
said
is
yeah.
major when it comes to music. They really hold it down on the music front. Lot
Oh,
lot
So
yeah.
lot of great artists from Detroit.
yeah. And that's why I said they're probably in my playlist, but I don't even know.
Yeah.
So because I don't know.
We'll think Detroit. I got you.
Okay, yeah, Detroit, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just real quick about Detroit Demo Day. Are there plans to introduce this concept of this program to other cities?
People have asked me. People
I asked you
definitely
before too.
have asked me to bring the demo day to their city. I'm down to do it as long as they put up the cash. You gotta
Yeah.
have the money. The entrepreneurs they gotta compete for something. So if there's an organization or a group or multiple organizations that want to see something like that come to their city, I haven't pitched that to cities. But if some people have heard about it through the grapevine. A couple people in Chicago, a couple people in Atlanta, actually, and I think the Atlanta area, that those conversations are probably the stickiest right now, because they're I think had it not been for the coronavirus, we would have saw an Atlanta Demo Day this year.
Oh yeah, that would have been
Those
major.
conversations were picking up.
Yeah.
That came up a lot. I would be 1000% down to roll out Demo Day in any other city. I've got the playbook. I know it like the back of my hand from doing it so many times now. It's just the capital. So whoever's down to put up the capital, I'm game.
Okay. So back to the Plain Sight app. I know you're on the road real quick, but anytime I'm talking to an entrepreneur, I got to kind of pull the information out
All
to share with the masses. So you secured funding for the app. How daunting was this task? Because I know people always think that every idea they have is going to, they're going to get a ton of funding, but it doesn't always work out that way. How big of a task is it to get funding for a business or, in the tech field?
Well, I'll tell you this. One thing that I've learned about fundraising for business, it's all about relationships.
Mhm.
And that's the reason why I really hope that I succeed with Plain Sight, because people don't just have built-in relationships, they have to form them. And once people are familiar with you, people bet on the jockey, not the horse, right?
Right.
Like there's so many ideas out here. Everybody's got an idea, some good, some bad, right?
Mhm.
What usually separates the people who get the resources that they need to be able to birth those ideas and then see them flourish is relationships. It just
Right.
is what it is. And some people have born with solid relationships, born with wealth, all that kind of stuff. Some people aren't. You have got to build solid relationships, because these investors that are out here, they're going to invest into people that they know, like, and trust. And that just is what it is. And a lot of times when people say that they're struggling with fundraising and getting the money for their business, what they really mean is they're struggling with meeting the right people who can hear out their idea and get to know them personally, to understand who they're betting on, so that they can get their business funded. Because people are funding people, they're not funding ideas.
So when someone is looking for funding for their business and they don't have the network or the resources that you and I may have, where's the first place that they need to look for that? What would you suggest?
Yeah, yes, for sure. So like I would say, like, figure out a business or a person that has received funding that their idea kind of aligns with, right? Like, so like, who do you know that has received some funding, right? Or even a business that has received funding that you're like, you know what, I want to be like that business one day,
Mhm.
right? And all of this stuff is usually public information. So like, if you, let's say you're in the beauty business and there is another beauty business that you see on the news or something like that that's gotten $500,000 in funding, find out how they got their funding, where they got that funding from, and then back into that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
then start Google searching the bit, like, because what you're gonna find out is when you actually see who's writing these checks, they're gonna be organizations and funders that you've never even heard of, and that you never even knew existed. You know what I'm saying? And once you start there with that research, then you can start laying the seeds and like, okay, all right, this is a fund that funded this beauty business, so that means that they're at least interested in funding beauty businesses. Let me see who are the people behind this organization. So you go to their website and then oh, okay, well, let me try to add them on LinkedIn. You know what I mean? And then like they probably are going to add you because they don't know you, because that's how LinkedIn is or whatever, but shoot that shot anyway, right? Like try to add them, try to find a way, see who you've got connections with that can introduce you to those people, because this is a people game. And
Right.
at the end of the day, you need to find the trail for the money and figure out who's actually writing these checks, and how can you form a pathway to building a relationship with those circles, because it's not easy, and it is a grind. And if it wasn't for COVID, I would say find networking events, find co-working spaces, find
Right.
all of these sites. So put yourself in the right room. We can't do that right now. So you're gonna
Right.
have to get really, really creative during this time to be able to find that. But it starts with the people. The people are the ones that are writing the checks. The people, you got to build relationships with the people, because bad ideas get funded all the time. And why is
Oh
that?
yeah.
It's because they knew somebody that
Right.
was down to fund their bad idea.
That
You
is
know what
so
I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah,
That is so true. Oh my
yeah, I hate to
goodness.
be the bearer
And
of bad news, but unless
yeah,
you know the right people, it doesn't matter how good or bad your idea is. And I think that
yeah.
entrepreneurs need to understand that, right? Like, they need to be prepared to say that, you know what, I may have the best idea in the world and nobody's gonna fund it. So how can
Right.
I be able to like bootstrap this thing and bring revenue to the point where people are throwing checks at me, people are
Right.
chasing after me, and that it's a grind, man. It's a
It,
long game, but
yeah. You know,
what it is.
it is, and you know what? One thing that I like about what you said is the networking part of it. A lot of people don't want to do that networking part of it because they feel like there is going to be fruitless. But I totally disagree with that. I know one way is how we met. We met through networking, and I love technology, but there's part of the
Yeah,
technology field that in terms of investing and finding funding that I'm new at. And I asked you and I said, "Hey, can you mentor me?" And it was all about networking,
yeah,
and now here we are. We talk at least once a month, just about stuff. And I think that, I've been on social media, and I've linked up with a lot of people, and I
yeah.
totally agree with you when it comes to, you have to at least put one foot in front of the other. And one of the things that you can do in doing that is the networking part of it.
Because think
Get
about it like this.
online.
Think about it like this. We met, okay, we're doing this show. I'm gonna invite you and Big Ken out to Detroit Demo Day. Who knows who y'all gonna be sitting next to at Detroit Demo Day? But
Right.
had me and you not talked on that one networking platform, and then we did this, and then like one thing,
Yeah.
Lisa, that you can never take any conversation, any relationship, any introduction for granted,
Right.
because
Right.
it builds. Everything builds on top of each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh yeah.
And that, I think that has been probably the differentiator for me and a game changer for me, is that I'm willing to pick up every little crumb and then try to
Right.
build up something from the crumbs. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Because
Yeah.
everything, I just know that this is all a people game. And so
Yeah.
I don't
Oh
even
yeah.
chase the money. I just try to build solid relationships,
Yeah.
and then I
I
know that
love that.
good
I
things
love
will happen
that.
from there. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Real quick, when we talked a few weeks ago, you were you were busy, but you still took time out to talk to me. I know you were onboarding content creators,
Uh-huh.
and how is that going? I know that I put that in my journalism groups, and even was selling it to Big Ken. So how is that
Yeah,
going?
it's going great. I think we still need to hire a content contributor in the New York area, and we need one in the San Francisco area, because those are two target cities for us that we're going to be focusing on, and the Atlanta area. So
Okay.
still looking for 3 content contributors that I would hire between now and the end of the year.
Okay.
San Francisco, Atlanta, and somewhere in the New York area.
New
Primarily,
York.
like,
New York.
I would prefer like Brooklyn, somewhere in there, but whatever. So that we're still looking, but we've hired a lot of them already.
Oh, good. Okay, because I know that Big Ken and I were kind of posting it, and we've been putting out there because it's just another great way for people to get paid to use their
Yeah,
creative juices and
that's
just
right.
keep their community informed of what's going on around them. I think that, I think
Yeah,
that's totally
it's stuff
awesome.
they're doing already, probably anyway. So
Yeah,
might as well
exactly.
do it with us, and we'll pay you for it.
Exactly.
Yep,
Exactly. Well,
yep.
I know that you are on the road, but before you go, we always love for our guests to share a little advice with other entrepreneurs. And I get
Mhm.
this question all the time, so I'm going to pose it to you. What advice would you give someone who has a great idea, but has a fear of networking, or they struggle with approaching someone to start a conversation about their idea? Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
That does make sense. I would say start with people that you're comfortable with. It is hard talking to strangers. I get that, and not everybody has a personality like Tori, who's never met a stranger before that will talk to anybody. Right? Like, it's gonna be easy for people like Tori, like Big Kids laughing because he know, like, that's just how Tori is. She's
Fact.
gonna put it out there. She could talk to anybody, but not everybody is like that. So you have to start with people who you are comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? And then allow them to make introductions for you, and utilize them as much as possible so that you can get more comfortable going outside of your small circle, because chances are we got somebody in our circle who's
Right.
outgoing and outspoken and like knows some people. So utilize those people as much as you can. But then also just park the fear. Anytime there's fear with anything that you're wanting to do, you're gonna have to overcome that fear for you to have success. And I don't care what the fear is. Like
Right.
you're just gonna have to park that fear. You know what I'm saying? But because fear is a barrier. You know what I mean? And it's not even real. Like it just exists in here. I think a lot of people are afraid of failure and afraid of rejection. And if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to fail and get rejected every single day.
Oh yeah,
Like
for sure.
so just own that, embrace that part of it, like get that on out the way. Like, so if you're afraid of fear, if you're afraid of rejection, and you're afraid of failure, then you might not want to be an entrepreneur, or just accept that that's going to happen on a daily basis, and that's what you signed up for. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so I think just accepting that, will take you a long way, because now when I fail, or somebody's like, "Nah, I'm not interested in your app," or if somebody says, "No, I don't want to, invest in your company," whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just on to
Yeah.
the next, because that's a part of it.
Exactly.
I just understand that failure is a part of the game, and so is rejection. And not everybody's gonna want what you have. So, I would say park the fear, and start with your comfort zone, and try to use your comfort zone to break further and further out as you can.
Okay. Thank you so much a million times over. I know you are on the road, but like I always tell you before I get you off the phone, I really enjoy chatting chatting with you. And I want to say this before you go. I just want to
Yeah.
let you know that I am really blessed that our paths crossed. I think that it was all for, all for the right reasons. And I can't wait to hear about more things about Plain Sight and what you're doing, and you to kind of, let me hold on to your coattail as as I enter this big tech world with, with the app I'm working on. So I just want to say thank you so much, and
Mhm.
taking time out of your schedule to kind of just pull over for a minute and talk to us. And I know that we appreciate what you're doing, especially with the entrepreneurs and the communities. So thank
Yeah,
you
no,
again.
thank you. And again, I value relationships. So if it's just pulling over to have to be able to do this so we can make it happen, I'm doing it, just because, again, you never know. Like, you may meet an investor, right? That may be interested in investing in Plain Sight one day. But if I ruin our relationship, then, you're not even going to be thinking about me. You know what I'm saying? So thank
Right.
you for this opportunity to be able to talk about myself, talk about my business, talk about Demo Day. I appreciate any platform, all platforms. I don't even know how many people are listening. I don't care if it's one person. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So thank you both for what you're doing, and creating platforms for entrepreneurs to be able to tell their stories, and get the word out about their things, and hopefully sooner rather than later, who knows, that everything in the world will be able to fly out and see
Yeah.
each other,
Oh
and
yeah.
collaborate in
Yeah.
person in some way, shape, form, or
Yeah. That's
fashion.
gonna
So looking
that'll
forward to that too.
yeah, that'll be awesome. So
Absolutely.
thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you,
To
guys.
learn more about the Plain Sight app, visit plainsight.app. Now, James, your
Mhm.
app is also on the Google and the Apple.
Apple. Yep.
Okay, all
Yep.
right. So
Yep. So in
cool.
your app store, whether it's Google or Google or iOS, just search Plain Sight, and it'll be the first thing that pops up in your app store. PLAINSIGHT.
Got it. All right. Well,
Solid.
you be safe on the road, and I look forward to talking to you once you get all settled and situated and unpacked.
Okay, we'll do.
Take care
We'll
and be
do. Thank
safe,
you,
All
my
right.
guys.
brother.
All right.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Yep. Y'all stay safe. Peace.
All right.
Okay. Bye. Awesome guy.
Yeah, great
Super
energy, a
awesome.
lot of good
Yeah.
information. And one
Oh
thing that
yeah.
stuck out to me is one thing all my mentors have ever told me, and to remember this, and a lot of people out there remember this as well. Sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. And he
Yeah.
said, he made it
Exactly.
plain. Sometimes it's about your relationships with people. And you can have the greatest idea in the world, but if you don't have anybody to help you along the way, then it's just gonna be parked, like
Yeah.
the fear that most
Mhm.
of you all have as well.
Yeah.
So, a lot of good nuggets, a lot of good information to take away from the conversation. So,
Mhm.
hey, y'all have to soak it all in.
It's like you said, you gotta kind of put the fear by the wayside and just
Mhm.
kind of, go for it, because it's like I always tell my son, yesterday is gone. It's not coming back. Whatever you said you were going to do and you didn't get to, it's yesterday's gone. You got to, and I know that sometimes he, but it's not only him, he just kind of has a fear of, he started when before he left to go to college, he started a business, and one of the things that he was afraid to do was approach a vendor to ask for products for his subscription box that he was doing. And I said, well, I can lead you, but I'm not going to do everything for you. You're gonna have to put that fear aside. And he did get the contract. But you have to put the fear aside because everybody's not going to say yes. Somebody's going to say no, and
Well,
you just move on.
my dad fixed me early. You know how he fixed me? He,
Uh-oh.
he told me, he said, when you're talking to those little girls, somebody's going to tell you no. So as I got older, and I would run into situations and stuff, and I'd be like, Dad, I don't know if I want to do that. I'm not really confident about that. He said, if you ever talked to a girl before and she told you no, I said, yes, sir. So he said, well, same concept. People going to tell you no. Just keep on going anyway, shoot your shot. So,
Yeah.
hey, that's how I have to look at it. And that's how I
Yeah, that's
looked at it from
true.
that point on,
That's a good
just,
analogy. Yeah.
yeah, you going to get told no sometime
Yeah.
and you just have to shoot your shot. So,
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah. So anyway, that was great.
Mhm.
James is full of I love his energy, and he's full of information. And what's funny is that I'm always, I'm always the one like, man, I know so much about business, but it's super awesome to meet somebody that knows more,
Yeah.
and
Always
for, yeah.
surround yourself with people who know more than you so you can
Yes,
grow.
and exactly. And in talking to him, I always I always get something from him
Mhm.
when we talk. And I'm sure, or at least I hope, that he takes some information from me as well. But it's just great to have met him, and I'm totally looking forward to Detroit Demo Day, and dragging you along with me. uh,
Yeah. Gotta go to Detroit. Hey, like we were talking about, there's a lot of great artists from Detroit. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I've never been to Detroit before, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, yeah. So anyway, on next week's show, guess who's back? Michael Bishop.
Mm, Michael Bishop.
Yes. Yeah, we'll do a full interview with him. If for those of
Mhm.
you who don't know, Michael Bishop was a former quarterback for K-State and the New England Patriots. And I remember watching the Heisman, the Heisman candidates. I want to say
Presentation. Yeah.
present. I want to say show, but it's not really a show. And he was right behind Ricky Williams in the
Hmm.
voting, and
Yep.
so yeah, I remember I remember that. And I am also his former agent advisor. And it's funny because he always says, you know what, you're still my agent advisor, so there are certain things that you still have to do. I'm like, I don't think so. So, anyways, I'm looking forward to just everyone meeting him. He's such an awesome guy, and he's just one of the clients that I never had problems with. He's
Mm.
just he's a good guy. Um, so looking forward to talking to him next week. That should be
Yeah.
exciting. No holds barred. You could just ask him anything, and he'll let you know.
Oh yeah, that's how we do. We just
Yeah,
ask whatever.
just wait, whatever.
Hmm.
So anyway, tune in to next week's show. We'll have Michael Bishop on here. So, yeah, if you would like your company to be on the KUTC Business Spotlight, send us a message on Facebook Live at on Facebook at KUTC Live. And remember, you can watch KUTC Live right here on Facebook every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Or if you missed the show, you can watch it on BlackLineEntertainment.com or on FacebookLive.com. So, all right. So at the end of every show, we leave with a positive quote, and I love this quote. While it's small, it's still relevant, and it's from the late Kobe Bryant. Once you know what failure feels like, determination chases success.
Mm.
Until next time.
Make sure y'all keep up the conversation.
Bye.
Peace.
Follow Keeping Up the Conversation on Facebook at KUTC Live.